Hey everyone, it's Nathas, and today I'm going to be opening yet another SolForge Fusion Kickstarter exclusive edition starter kit. So this is the 9th kit that I'm opening out of the case of 12. So I've opened a lot of really cool stuff so far, and we'll see if we get anything good today. So definitely been having a lot of fun opening all of these. So far there have been some interesting lists, a few that are considerable for competitive play, a lot that would be really fun and sealed. So definitely looking forward to see if we get anything cool today. I'm hoping we see at least one or two more betrayers out of this case. Including this one, there are 4 boxes left to see if we open anything cool. All right. So we are going to get started with our land list. So we'll start with an adaptive tactician, camouflage techno hulk, nano swarm, Orlean battle droid, protective inventor, shield bearing justicar, venerable prophet, war machine, and a warmonger mod. Oh, and there is a gold card in the back, so it must have been like out of order from collation. So there's also a forge plate yeti. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, perfect. And our forge one here is a steel Rosetta with an enhance at level 2, tinker at level 3, and repurpose at level 4. So this is a deck that kind of doesn't really have a plan, in my opinion. There's a lot of cards that just kind of don't really help you win the game, and they kind of help you stall here. So unfortunately, this list is not one that I think I would play in a sealed environment or a competitive environment. It's just one that I think would kind of sit to the side, unless there was a deck that really appreciated that specific subset of cards. All right. So now we're getting into our Tempest list. So we've got an Assailing Worm, Combat Ice Crusher, Conflagrate, Freezing Omni. There's our first Omni. That's really fun. Ice Storm, Lightning Spark, Stampeding Invocust, Venerable Stonefist, Volcanic Collar, and a Windspark Elemental. And we've got a Korok here with Demolish at level 2, Lightning Speed at level 3, and Flame Strike at level 4. So this deck is pretty fun for that Omni. So it's nice to see that Assailing to push damage. We've got a Ice Crusher to push damage with aggressive. Conflagrate is really nice just in general. It's a great spell. Now the Freezing Omni is great with obviously the Ice Storm being the card that readies it. So being able to just kind of deal a bunch of damage to each enemy creature, as well as Ice Storm to deal a bunch of damage to your enemy creatures. And then you have more removal and more mages as well. So this one has like 3 or 4 mages with a lot of aggressive creatures and ways to really just kind of pump your board and deal damage. So that's definitely pretty solid for an Omni list. So that might be one of my favorites that we've opened so far out of this case. And I really love opening specifically Omnis out of the Kickstarter because you know those are basically the first ever legendaries that they've printed, and they tend to have pretty low numbers. Like I think that one was in the 30s. All right. So now we're getting into our Terra. So we've got a Camouflage Ravager, Asperian Steel Plate, Lysian Rain, Mystical Tangle Sprout, Rooted Druid, Shardplate Delver, Stouthide Stegodon, Summoning Council, Terra Charger, and a Venerable Keeper. Got our Forgeborn here is a Nova, with Nova's Wrath at level 2, Nova's Dominion at level 3, and Nova's Touch at level 4. So unfortunately, there's not a ton of ways to gain life in this list. It seems like it's really just that Stouthide Stegodon, and a lot of these cards here really benefit off of life gain. So as a result, this deck probably is one that I wouldn't focus too hard on. But if you pair it with a good deck that has life gain on the other side, maybe you could get something out of it, but unfortunately, I don't think that's something I would be playing. Now, if this is sealed, likely, before even seeing this list, I would be going Tempest, Necrom, because that Tempest deck is pretty solid. But we'll see what we get here. So we got a Commanding Skeleton, Dr. Frankenbaum, Dizzy Siphon, Forsaken Creeper, Brave Pact, Indomitable Fiend, Scourge Hydra, Shambling Walker, Stout Banshee, and a Zithian Dreadmaw. We've got a Cersei with Death Touch at level 2, Life Drain at level 3, and Army Commander at level 4. So in general, this is the Cersei I like a lot, specifically because it's really good with Forge Seal Mantis. Overall, the deck quality here is okay. There's definitely some removal, which is nice. Obviously, the Grave Pact, and we got our Dizzy and Siphon as a really only 2 spells. But you have your Scourge Hydra, which is great with Dizzy and Siphon. You have Shambling Walker, which is a Shambler and its removal. And we've got stuff like Dizzy or Zithian Dreadmaw that destroys your own creatures. So overall, this is not a bad list. It's one that I would personally consider on a competitive scene just because of that Death Touch, Life Drain, and Army Commander. So I'd probably look at pairing this with a Forge Seal Mantis deck that I have that might appreciate that extra level of beasts that are in this list, because there's 4 beasts. Awesome. So that was definitely a really solid pack. We had a solid Cersei deck, and we had a deck that had a Omni. So definitely really appreciate that one. And I'm looking forward to the last couple. So we're getting really close to the end of this case.